the one, the only, Bencio.
Good afternoon and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Table Enabled. We're back after taking a week off. A little vacation for me. Did some fun stuff with my kids. I went to a water park. Not with my kids. That was the fun part about it. Back to Simon Reish Pei Vav 286 in Hilchos Shabbos. We're doing Dinei Tfilas Musaf Shabbos. The halacha is about davening Musaf on Shabbos. It's an additional, not just on Shabbos, you daven Musaf. Also on Chol Moed, Rosh Chodesh, there's a mitzvah Musaf. But because the Musaf is based on the Karban Musaf, which was brought on Shabbos and Yom Tov and Rosh Chodesh. Aleph. Zman Tfilas Musaf miyad achar Tfilas HaShachar. You're supposed to daven Tfilas Musaf right after Shachris. Ve'en la'achar yosar ma'ad sof sheva shos. L'chadchila, you're supposed to daven within the first 7 hours of the day, because ideally in the base of the Mikdash, that's when the Karban Musaf was brought. You're considered someone who's negligent. But you still could daven. If you didn't daven after 7 hours, daven the rest of the day. The essential mitzvah of Musaf could be offered. The Karban Musaf could be offered the entire day until Shkia. There's no tashlumin for a Karban Musaf. As for the other three tefillos, there is a concept of tashlumin. Musaf, there's no tashlumin. There is, you do dochet. Let's say you made a mistake, you daven Musaf first. Yotze, because again, Musaf could be right in the morning, right when sunrise hits. You can bring the Karban Shachar, and you can bring the Karban Musaf. Even if you're in a deserted town, there's no one there, there's still a mitzvah to daven Musaf. That's the kind of was, even not even in the Tzibur, even though it's considered a Korban Tzibur. But so is the Talmud. The Talmud is also a Korban Tzibur. And if you're with a Tzibur, then it's Chazar Tashatz, as most people probably know. Gimel, mutar litom kodem tfilas Musaf. When you're allowed to taste something before Musaf, to eat fruits, or to eat a little bit of bread, have a snack, a piece of rugelach, some cake. Even if it's enough rugelach to make you full. Aval suda aser, to have a full-blown suda, that's aser before Musaf. Now, most poskim assume we're talking about that you made Kiddush already, right? You can't eat anything before you make Kiddush. We'll have to debate this going forward, whether actually, because, there's a minute of Kiddush clubs before Musaf, which have plenty of rugelach, and they make Kiddush on schnapps. You have to make Kiddush on schnapps. It's not clear from the Gemara that you have to actually make Kiddush. Maybe after daven Shachris, you could eat already, right? It's not clear. Maybe only Kiddush by night. There's a chiyuv that you can't eat anything before you make Kiddush, because the mitzvah d'oraisa as opposed to the day, which is the Rabbanan. We'll leave that for a different time. Dalet, hayul in front of shtei tfilos. You had two davenings to daven. Achas al mincha v'achas al musaf. Get going. How would you have that? She'icher m'lispal tfilos musaf at shei shalos umechsa, the Ramah says. Shehu's man tfilos mincha, right? At 12:30, you right chatzos plus 30 minutes, 6.5 hours into the day, whenever that falls out. That's daven mincha gedolos. You already daven mincha. Sarach l'spal shal mincha tchila v'achak shal musaf. First you daven mincha and then musaf. Even though musaf ideally could be within 7 hours. Normally musaf follows shachris, but mincha is considered tadir. Tadir shem tadir tadir tadir. Mincha happens more frequently than musaf. Mincha does. And since mincha happens more frequently than musaf, even though musaf is a special tefillah, you daven mincha first. Haggadah, the Ramah says, "Amiyum hiktim shal musaf yatsa." Again, like if you had musaf before shachar, you had musaf before mincha, it's okay. Some say this halacha that mincha comes before musaf is only when you have to daven mincha right now. He wants to eat, and he can't eat until he davens mincha. Right, we saw this certain halachas by tfilas mincha. Right, you want to have a big suda, especially a suda gedola, a yontiv suda according to some poskim, a suda gedola. You have to daven mincha first. You can do musaf because the best time, I'll explain this more in Ian to lean on, the best time for daven mincha is really mincha ketana. That's what the Ramah says, you spal mincha tchil, then you should daven mincha first. Even if it's 6.5 hours and it's time for the mincha, you don't daven mincha before musaf. Why? Because then people will say, "Oh, you always daven mincha before musaf," and people will start davening mincha before the right time because musaf is normally done in the morning. Hey, b'Shabbos yom tov ein omerim baruch la'achar kadesh basra Shabbos and Yom Tov, you don't say Baruch Hu after the last Kaddish, the Kaddish that you ended off Tefillah with. During the week in America, no one says Chutz La'aretz, no one says Baruch Hu after the final Kaddish or Tefillah. In Eretz Yisrael they do, but even in Eretz Yisrael on Shabbos and Yom Tov you don't say Baruch Hu because people have more time. They're not the reason that they say Baruch Hu is people might have missed it. They might have come late during the week. People are busy on Shabbos. They're not so busy. You don't have to say Baruch Hu again. That's the conclusion of today's share. Stay tuned for Ian to lean on where I talk about this halacha of mincha coming before Musaf. Tadir Shem Tadir Tadir Kodem. Ian to lean on coming up next.